Hey John, I watched one of your videos about why every man should be able to cold approach, and your reasoning made sense. One thing that's stopping me though is the concern that it might be unfair to give extra validation to girls. If I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't want guys constantly trying to get her phone number. Do you think I'm just overthinking, or is there a better way to get over this fear? So, okay, real quick, this isn't gonna be a long video, but guys, you can't use this as a justification. All right. So first of all, the thing you have to understand is don't worry about giving quote extra validation to girls. All right. Think about what you're trying to accomplish and what you want to get, right? If you start thinking about, if I do things, will this cause girls to get extra validation, or whatever it is, or if you're trying to show someone something or teach them a lesson, you're just thinking wrong because you're thinking in a large scope of society and women in general instead of thinking about this specific situation you're in. So let me give you another quick example of this, right? So a lot of times guys are like, oh, don't double text a girl, and then a lot of guys apply this to dating app. Now there's some context where it makes sense to not double text, right? If you're going on a date with the girl, or you've got her phone number and you're having some kind of interaction and message with her, or maybe even if you're dating her, if you double text, it comes across as needy, and she's more likely to not want to talk to you in the future and to see you as lower value. But let's say that you're on a dating app and you texted a girl and she didn't respond. There's no reason to not double text or triple text or quadruple text, because there's nothing that you have to lose in that case, right? If she's not going to talk to you anyway, and if you don't do anything, then nothing's going to happen. Now you could just move on and it doesn't matter, and that's probably what you should do in most cases. But why not take that second shot? Or if you had texted a girl and you haven't heard from her for like 2 weeks, she ghosted you, whatever, there's no reason to not send another text. Now you got to do it without any kind of investment on that part. But my point is that a lot of guys will say, "Oh, don't do this because then she'll think you're needy." Well, does it really matter if you're never going to see her again? Does it really matter if she's never going to respond to you again? It doesn't really matter, right? So you got to do the thing that is a smart move. And in that case, also, let's say on a dating app, girls are getting hundreds of messages. A lot of times, if you double message her, you're going to bump your message back up to the top, and she's more likely to read it and respond. Doesn't mean that's going to work all the time. There's no magic bullet for any of this stuff. But when it comes down to cold approach, it's ridiculous to think that if you go and talk to a girl, that you're giving her extra attention and validation, and now she's going to think more highly of herself. It doesn't matter. Maybe that is the case. Who cares? Because you're not interacting with that girl again. Yeah, maybe for the next guy down the line, her ego's inflated, but it's just a ridiculous thing to even think about. So a lot of your mental space right now is being taken up by worrying about other people, what other people think, and society at large, and things you can't control. You could take presidential election. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't really matter. Not to you, not to me, not in our daily. I mean, maybe slightly from a tax perspective. If you make a lot of money, you probably want a Republican president in there just because that will influence it. But everything else is not really going to matter to you. You don't have any control over it. Doesn't. So don't sweat that stuff. Don't sweat what's going on. Don't sweat if girls are whatever doing their stuff on OnlyFans, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you just don't date that girl. Just don't, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're actually working to coach people and to help them, then you don't need to have a voice in it. It's just what people are doing. I mean, there's a lot of people that are taking a lot of drugs, right? I mean, I walk down the street in San Diego, downtown San Diego, there's all these people cracked out and stuff. Like, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, oh, this is so horrible. These guys are so dumb. Why are you taking so many drugs? And just like, I don't care. Like, that's their problem. It's not my problem. You see what I'm saying? And so my point here is that, look, your problem is that you need to learn to cold approach, right? You need to learn how to get out there and become better with women. And it doesn't matter if you're, quote, giving girls extra validation. Again, this is different than simping. I'm not saying go and put all these likes on girls' Instagram posts and say, ooh, you're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous. Again, even if you did that, it doesn't matter. It's a drop in the bucket. Okay, other guys are doing it, so it's not going to affect you personally in terms of, oh, what if you're inflating their ego? It's if everyone collectively stopped doing it. Yeah, I agree, but that's never going to happen. So don't even worry about it. You're never going to convince the guys that are actually very simpy to. So there's no point, right? So there's no point worrying about it. So again, my point is that don't worry about that. Like, that's you're using this as an excuse to not just do what you know that you need to do. So just go out there, and it is true that every man should learn cold approach for this exact reason, because you have to get over yourself, you have to get over your excuses, and you have to develop courage at some point in your life. And nothing, there's never going to be the right time in your life to develop courage. It's never just going to magically align like, okay, now I can do it. No, you're just going to have to do it. So that's it. Just get out there and do it.